You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. You'd love me. A lot of people don't know that was David Banner, a.k.a. the Incredible Hulk. That was a alternate line that was bandied about at the studio, but they axed it because it didn't make any sense. That's not true. Or is it? I am Paul Bartholomew. This is I Want to Hold Your Band, and today's guest is actor, comedian Peter S. Kim. And what a great conversation I had with Peter. He's a really smart guy, really funny, and I just got a lot of new great music from him. We talk Britney Spears, Emancipator, John Mayer, Sylvan, Esso, and so much more. Don't forget that links to all the songs we talk about are in the episode description, as well as now a link to the questionnaire that I have guests fill out, so you can see all the songs we didn't talk about. So I thought that'd be fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I sure did. And without further ado, I give you Mr. Peter S. Kim. First piece of music, artist, album that you remember coming into your life.
The first thing I remember coming into my life was a Korean, I can't even call it a pop group. Maybe it was a folk group.
Okay.
80s. 소방차. And that meant fire engine. Couldn't even tell you like the melody of it, but I remember it was like three dudes. It was like proto boy band, pre-Boys to Men.
Okay.
And they were like doing like simple kind of swaying moves and singing melodically. And I remember that being like my first memory of music. And then shortly after followed a lot of K-pop. Like I grew up here in America. I was born in New York, in Flushing, Queens. But if you know anything about Flushing, it's a like very dense diaspora of the Korean immigration. So it's like LA has K-Town and New York has Flushing. So that's where I was born and raised. So I didn't know English till I went to school. I learned English in kindergarten. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. So I grew up here, but I didn't know anyone who knew English. I only spoke Korean. So I only went to church. I hung out with my cousins. All my family was Korean. And we all immigrated here. So they were all speaking Korean. No one like knew English. So I didn't hear American music or watch American TV. I'm sure there was like sports happening because my dad's family loved sports, particularly the Yankees, big Yankees fan. Yeah, so my first music was Korean. My first media was Korean. There's these places called like video shops where they would get a tape sent to them of a broadcast on like, let's say like Korea's NBC, like their like terrestrial broadcast. So like someone would tape it, mail it over to a video shop in Flushing, and then there would be like 10 to 15 like back in the day VHS like copy decks. Do you remember those?
Oh,
where
100%.
You could like copy an entire VHS tape from tip to tape. You know what I mean? So
100%.
Like 10 of those would be going, and then they would make 10 copies of that one episode of that broadcast, and then they would rent it out for $1 per week. So we would watch Korean TV like,
And it was like current, it was pretty quickly
it was
after.
like a day or two late. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was before like any type of streaming, obviously, or cable packages, etc. Yeah, this was like pre-MTV.
So when you first heard that first one you heard about the, what'd you say, Fire Engine?
Yeah.
And it's in Korean, but was that the name of the song, Fire Engine?
No, that was the band.
The band, Fire Engine.
Yeah, it was some kind of like sad love ballad.
Where did you hear your music? So you first remember that? Do you remember how
Probably
old you were?
on one of those VHS tapes. Yeah.
So they were performing on like a show or like a live performance?
They would have like a variety show in Korea, and we would watch the tapes of them, and I would like hear the music. So that was like my first intro into like any type of media, any type of music or TV.
And paint me a picture of your family, siblings, how big your house was. Did you have your own room?
I was the oldest till I was 7, and then my middle brother was born. So I was an only child for a while. It was great. And it was just me, my mom, and my dad. And then I grew up around my cousins and grandparents, and we would all like watch those decks, those VHS tapes together as a family. Yeah, we would sit around and watch that. Once like sports was done, we'd be like, all right, put on the VHS, and we would all like cackle and watch the variety show. And then, of course, someone would come out and sing. And so that was like the
That's so
Our
lovely.
version of SNL, you
Yeah.
know, like I don't know if families still sit around the TV and watch SNL, but back in the day they did, you know, my day, 80s. So like my like American and white counterparts would be doing that and we'd be sitting around watching like VHS tapes like 2 days later from Korea.
Did your parents, so besides watching it, hearing music through watching those decks, those tapes, was there a record
Music
player,
in the
8-track?
house?
Yeah.
Yes, there was a record player in the house, and I remember a record that I don't remember the music to, but I remember the album cover, Blondie. I think my mom liked that. And also she loved Julio Iglesias and, oh my God, what's his name? Richard Marx.
Oh, Richard Marx. Wherever you go.
Yeah.
And did she have that record? Or that was maybe
She had the tape.
the tape. So records and tapes.
Records and tapes is how I started understanding American music.
Okay.
Because by the time I was 7, I think they were starting to like get into like pop songs. They had a record player. They would go out and buy used tapes or whatever. So like that was starting to happen in the house. But I think it was mostly my mom. I don't remember my dad ever listening to music or enjoying himself.
Really?
Ever. Yeah, he was a very like
serious,
grouchy person. Yeah, he liked sports and kung fu movies. That's all.
But
He didn't
no
want
music.
no music ever. I don't ever remember. He only listened to like sportscast in the car. Yeah, we never listened to music.
Wow.
He didn't like it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, but my mom loved music. She also had an Enya CD.
I loved
Enya.
So you got Blondie, Richard Marx, Enya, Julio Iglesias.
Yeah.
The next question would be, do you remember the first piece of music? So around 7, that music started happening for you, or you started more like American music stuff instead of the tapes and hearing it. Do you remember the first piece of music that you bought for yourself?
Bought for myself.
Or somebody
Ooh.
gave to you that was like, oh, I'm going to go
This
get
is
this.
mine. I remember my maybe 9 or 10 years old. Oh, that put me at like 5th grade. I was gifted a yellow Sony Walkman.
The sport Walkman?
The sport one.
Where you'd clip it?
Clip it.
I had that Walkman.
And then it like, yeah. And it I guess like, I don't know if it was waterproof.
It was
but,
kind of,
right?
I think there was always like, was it waterproof or water resistant?
Resistant. There was no way it was proof.
It wasn't proof, but it was, that was a big thing. You could jog
It's like you
with
could-
it.
right.
Yeah, and it's like this big. You're holding it in your hand as you're
Truly. And those like crazy, like hard wire,
Yes,
like
yes. It was
metal.
like and then the bigger the headphones, they were like foamy, kind of like
Yes,
those.
exactly. And then if you were outside and it was hot, the metal would get hot on your head. So I had that Walkman.
Okay. You remember that in like 5th grade having
In
that.
5th grade, and because that was the first thing I had ever been purchased for me. And I believe my mom purchased that for me because that year she felt so bad. There was a lot happening in my family, and I think like divorce was looming. So I think she was trying to get ahead of it maybe. So she like went big on my birthday and bought me that. And the tape that she bought me with it was Michael Jackson's. Is the album Remember the Time, or is that the single?
Dangerous?
Dangerous. Yes. She bought me the cassette and
The Walkman.
the Walkman. Because you can't just get a kid a Walkman and no
Right.
cassette. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Right.
Yeah. So she was good about that. She got me this one thing, and I wore this tape down.
Really?
This was my first tape. Oh, and then right after this, I saved up money to buy a second tape, and it wasn't a music. Well, kind of. It was Adam Sandler's comedy album.
Yes.
Yes,
With
the one with the
Hanukkah,
yes, and the
man.
goat where he's like fucking the goat.
I don't remember the whole album. I remember like
That listening to that album really broke my brain. I was like, I can't believe someone is saying this out loud.
really.
And being recorded, so like a 9-year-old Korean kid could listen. I felt like I was like watching porn or something. Like it felt dangerous, like it really felt like I was on the precipice of, I don't know, a brand new world, because like coming from such a like evangelical Christian immigrant place, hearing someone in character talking about fucking this goat was so edgy.
Edgy.
Yeah, dangerous. Yeah, that's what it felt like.
And do you remember buying it?
Yes. It was at the Wiz. Nobody beats the Wiz. Do you remember that?
totally remember that.
Huge in the 80s.
Nobody beats the Wiz.
Yes, down in Main Street, Flushing, there was like listening decks where you could like listen to the tape or CD before. This was pre-CD. I would listen to it and be like, I think I've listened to it enough. I'll buy it. You know, like I sat there for 3 hours.
I totally did that.
And also, like, there were B-sides. So, like, you had to listen to the B-side to be like, am I going to like this B-side stuff?
Yeah.
Or am I just going to like the title track or the first single off the A-side?
Right.
Because then I won't buy it. I'll wait till it's on sale. You know, like, so you really had to do that kind of math back
And
then.
I had earlier than you, if you just liked it, like if I listened to Joan Jett, I don't know if I like that whole album, you'd have 45s. So you could just buy the single, and on the B side, there would be something else, but you're like, I don't care.
Whatever.
We're running the shadows of the night. That's the song I want.
That's the one song. That's right.
But you could take a chance and you wouldn't. But then when you got to cassettes, I think sometimes there were cassettes that were singles.
And there were single CDs too.
Yeah. Oh, there were?
There were.
I don't remember seeing
Yeah,
CDs.
they would like not come in the jewel case, but they would come in like the little sliver of a paper thing, like a little sleeve. I remember buying a Britney Spears, Oops, I Did It Again. Oh my God. That changed my life.
Really?
Oops, I Did It Again was monumental. Because Britney had already been out, and then like it was kind of like during my freshman, sophomore year, which was like a sexual awakening for a lot of boys around me.
High school, college? Freshman.
High school. And then when the Oops, I Did It Again came out with like her in the really like shiny red leather thing that she was in Mars, that's when all the boys were like, yes, I am heterosexual and I want to have sex with Britney Spears. And that's when I was like, I want to be Britney. Like, I want to wear that. You know, like, that's when I was like, oh, I'm different. That was like when I knew. And I had a Britney poster in my room, like Britney in Las Vegas. And I remember like had the tape, VHS again. And I just kept watching the concert over and over again to be like, I'm going to be on stage like her.
Is that what it was? Is when you saw it, you just wanted to?
Yeah, I wanted to be a star. I wanted to be cool like her, wear like awesome clothes and dance and like do the moves. Like I never wanted to like touch her.
Yeah.
Or like hold her hand, take her on a date. Like none of that. Like
I don't think most of the guys your friends wanted to take her on a date or hold her hand.
No, maybe not. Or like even
You're
like
so sweet. You're like hold her hand or give her a rose.
I don't know what guys wanted to do. Like
Societies.
I didn't want to. Like I definitely did not want to like be around her sexually.
Yeah.
Like I was like, no, I like respect you too much, and you are a star. So like I just want to learn from you. So I think that's when I started to realize like, oh, I might be different than these other boys.
So let's start with this is an artist I've never heard of.
Oh.
And it's Emancipator.
Yes.
Your album is As Soon It Will Be Cold Enough. So when did Emancipator come into your life? And
yes.
Tell me about it.
Emancipator is a wonderful artist. He is a electronic producer and DJ, and he plays the fiddle, I believe, and a bunch of different instruments. And I found him in what year was this? 2014. I was performing at a festival called Symbiosis, and it takes place in Northern California. It was called the Symbiosis Gathering, and it was kind of like pitched to me as like an afterburner festival, where like after the Burning Man festival, it's like people who didn't get enough would go to this thing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Wow. So, you know, it was very psychedelic, acid-driven, kind of like in nature, like in the fields. There was like a watering hole with like these things built where it was like slides and like pontoons. It was very like Mad Max meets like commune feel. Like there was bartering happening, different musicians and stages. And I was obviously doing comedy, and I was part of like, I brought a bunch of comedians to do like a show there, and they had us up, and we stayed in like tents and performed, and Emancipator was one of the main acts in the big stage. And after we did our show, we're like, let's go. And he was playing his set, and I was like, who the hell is this? And I was in like an acid fury, and I saw him perform. And it just like blew my mind. And he was playing the fiddle live and he was doing all these cool things like production wise on like live on his laptop. I think he was like on Ableton. And it was just like, it was really just like mind blowing for me. And I had just like a spiritual experience. And then after that, I just looked up his stuff and I fell in love with this album. And he's got a lot of great albums. And I used them as part of my like focus playlist. And I listened to him and a lot of like taiko and bonobos and all these like different type of like electronic musicians when I write. You know how like people listen to like lo-fi, you know, when they study or whatever? Like that's kind of my...
Lo-fi, I should know what that means. What do you mean when you say lo-fi?
Low fidelity. It's like bedroom production music. Like it's very niche and it's for like people to like put on in the background while they like study or write or do like busy work or whatever. So because
It's
like
called lo-fi? It's
lo-fi.
made for that?
I don't know if it's made for that,
Oh, okay.
but that's what a lot of people use it for.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like these kind of like some people call it like binaural beats or something like that.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
very calming and
Yeah.
like atmospheric.
Right.
Maybe, yeah. It's great driving music because there's not a lot of words or lyrics. It's mostly instrumental. So, you know, it's nice to kind of like put on in the background while you're doing stuff.
So I'm going to play Soon It Will Be Cold Enough to Build Fires. Great title. From Soon It Will Be Cold Enough, the album from 2006. This is Emancipator. That is great driving music.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Now, see, this I couldn't have that on and write because it pulls me, especially when something's melodic. I can't do that. I'm like
You get pulled into it.
It just takes part of my brain with it. So that's interesting that you're able to have that and write while that's kind of going on in the background.
Yeah, I think when I hear something enough, like I wrote an entire screenplay off of Billie Eilish's albums, and I know her music so well. And I was it was like a sad screenplay, like so it was a very sad mood that I was getting into, and I know her songs so well that it like almost goes into like a deeper part of my. You know how like when you like hear something and you could like sing along to it after 15 years, it's
Yeah.
like not in your bigger brain, it's in your smaller like
Right.
animal brain.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back there, so like I'm able to like enjoy the groove of it, you know?
Yeah, without attaching. I totally have that. Songs that like something pops up and I'm doing the lyrics. I'm like, how the fuck am I remembering these lyrics? I haven't
There's
listened
no
to this in, like,
way. I'm not recalling it
at all.
Yeah.
That starts to freak me out sometimes.
It's
Where does
like a
that live
muscle
in my
memory.
brain?
Yeah.
And where does that live in your brain?
It's back in there in the cortex and that medulla oblongata.
Look at you. Amygdala? What's the amygdala? Isn't that a name? I don't know.
Amygdala is the emotional core of your brain. So it's a lot of where your like emotional memories are stored.
Okay, University of Michigan.
I did neuropsych for a while.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
why I know
shit.
this.
Well, that's great. I'm going to add that. I love that. Okay, let's go. One of your, in the obscure song section, you put a song, 1995.
Oh, is this Taiji and Boys? Yes. Oh, yes.
So tell me about that song, how it came into your life.
This is when K-pop was basically taking American pop music and like absolutely just ripping it and making their own. It was almost like one-to-one copy. The industry must have been so small that like American labels never went after them. Because, like, how many people are listening to this in Korea in 1995? Like, 300,000 people, you know? So, like, I don't think that, but for example, this song that I put on the list is, like, almost a direct copy of a Cypress Hill song from, like, that time, but they used their own, like, lyrics onto it. And they did a lot of that with R&B. Specifically, they would like take R&B hooks and almost exactly copy them and then make them into like early K-pop music. So we were like copy and pasting almost one-to-one, not like the lyrics themselves. Like we wouldn't like copy the lyrics, like it would change into a Korean lyric, but the chord progressions, like all of that was like stolen.
So this is K-pop early days then.
Early days. So this is even before it was called K-pop, it was called Gayo. And that means like Korean national music, almost folk, right? So like that's what it grew out of. And then once this stuff started like bleeding back into Korea, that's when like K-pop started really taking root because they were like, oh, this is pop music. We'll just perfect it. And that's where K-pop and Blackpink and BTS comes out of, is like, oh, just taking like things that American pop music does and then doing it just better.
Right.
You know? And there's something about like if a Korean artist does the same thing an American artist does, American artists might look or be thought of as cringe doing it, but because they're Korean, they're like get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like certain things that are like, oh, you're not American, so that's not corny. That's just like global.
Like what? You mean as far as lyrics or music licks
Yeah,
or videos?
yeah, any type of like lyric or music lick that might feel corny for like an American pop star to do. If a K-pop star do it, we would never think twice because they're like, oh, that's like a K-pop star. Of course, they're gonna be corny. They're like translating stuff. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
there's almost like a latency of like how much you can milk a trend or something like that in K-pop. So I think that's part of why it's gotten so big, is because globally we give allowances to K-pop more than we would like a Justin Bieber, who's like an American pop star. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't think he could get away with as much. For example, like cornrows. Girls in Blackpink wearing cornrows, like they can get away with it more than Lady Gaga wearing cornrows because there's like a cultural, racial, social thing that's happening in America that doesn't exist in Korea. They could get away with a lot more of like appropriation or like stealing from other cultures or whatever the fuck. You know, remember when Adele went to Jamaica and got like Bantu knots and everyone was like, oh my God, she's appropriating. Although she's like married to a Jamaican person or whatever. But like in Korea, no one would think twice if someone had Bantu knots in Jamaica because you're like, there's no like underpinning of racial tension that we experience here in America.
Right.
You know?
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So this was, Taiji was when like Gayo became K-pop, like when they started using Western hooks and influences.
But Kaio, was that like the fire engine? Was Kaio?
Yeah. That
Okay,
was more
okay.
fire engine.
That was more.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was like OG, like Korean
OG.
folk music.
Right.
Yeah. Like Peter, Paul, and Mary, that kind. Anyone in my generation in Korea and America, Korean Americans, this was a turning point in music and culture. It went from like Miley Cyrus started be doing like I came in like a wrecking ball.
Okay. Went away from like Hannah
Disney
Montana and Disney and
to
kind of
like
started. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
This happened for like the whole country. We went from like, oh, music is fun and corny to like, oh, music could be dangerous.
So this is from 1995.
Yes.
The song is "Come Back
I was
Home."
in 8th grade. 서태지.
Okay, here we go. That's a great song.
Yeah, right?
It's so good.
Yeah.
But I don't know Cypress Hill well enough to know, is that like
Not a 1-to-1, but like almost exact.
really?
Yes. And that's kind of where like even if you look at K-pop now, like we're just taking like what Americans are doing and what's hot right now. Like if Lil Wayne's doing it, we're just like dialing it up from Lil Wayne, you know? We're like dialing it up from Rihanna. Like that's what we're doing.
So one of your obscure songs is Spanish Eyes
Yes.
by Backstreet Boys from 1999.
Yes.
What is that to
Okay,
you?
that's a classic B-side of either Millennium or the one before that. So one of my best friends in high school and I, we used to sit at home and listen to new CDs. We would get like, he was wealthier, so he would like have money to buy like a new CD every 2 weeks or something.
Oh.
And, you know, it was like the careful unpackaging and looking at the booklet. And so it was like a ritual we would do. And this song came on and we were like, this song is so good. And we would like, and this was during like the boy band craze, and no one knew this song because everybody knew the radio songs. And this song was never released as a single, Spanish Eyes, but it's really good.
How old were you?
9th grade, maybe.
Ninth. And you and your buddy would like find
Yeah.
these every.
Yeah,
And
and
would
he would always have like a new he was a big hip hop fan, so he would buy like a new hip hop CD or something like that, or R&B CD every 2 weeks. And I could afford one like once every 6 months. So I was really jealous of him. He was my music guy. Like I knew all the new music.
You wouldn't hear it any other way. You didn't have
Otherwise,
Spotify,
no.
iTunes, any of that stuff. If
No.
it was on the radio, then
You could I guess you could request it on TRL or like the box. Do you remember the box, which was like a cable thing? It was like 1-900 number you could dial and pay like $18 to like request a song, like a music
What?
video. It was pre-TRL and it was like pay per music.
never heard of that.
Me
The
and
box?
my older guy friends would order Sir Mix-a-Lot, put him on the glass.
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yes, remember that video where girls are just like putting their boobs on the glass? And they're like, everybody get $5 together. We're going to put Sir Mix-a-Lot on the TV. This was such a pure time back in the day, like early 90s when like pre-internet, you couldn't look at boobs. You couldn't just demand boobs. Before you had to like go into the forest and like in the middle of a crack in a tree, like someone put a penthouse. You know what I mean? Like
I'm going to shift to one of your favorite album songs, Sadness songs, and that's Mr. John Mayer, Gravity from Continuum.
Gravity's very sad.
Yeah.
I love to sing that. I love to belt that in the car. That and Sarah Bareilles' Gravity. Also
I didn't do that
very
'cause
sad.
I love that song.
And She Used to Be Mine.
Oh my God.
I could sing that and cry immediately.
Okay, I'm going to show you when we're done. Have you seen, do you know Rufus Wainwright?
Oh my God. I just watched that.
Shivers.
Shivers.
I just got shivers again. I can't even, because
What
he's
kind of voice? He has like an incredible
I've been a big fan of his
voice.
for a really long time.
I didn't even know about who he was until
He's fucking incredible.
yeah.
But but how did he come into your
John Mayer?
Yeah.
Junior year of college,
I was gonna say
Room
that
for
was-
Squares came out, and I went to go watch him with some friends. Like a crew of us went to go watch, and I remember hearing his lyrics and thinking, "This guy's a comedian. He like writes towards punchlines." You know, and that really tickled me. And he also is just a beautiful guitarist and just great overall singer. I wish I knew nothing about him personally.
Right.
But that's true with everyone.
That's
Like,
so true. With
every artist. I'm like, don't tell me about anything. Just like, give me the art. Give me your gift, and just shh. Don't talk to me.
Okay, so let's do one last song. The artist that kind of blew my mind, I don't know anything about, which is Sylvan Esso.
Sylvan Esso, I also found the same time I found Emancipator. They were on the smaller stage. Same
At that same thing we did the
thing.
comedy.
Yes, Sylvan Esso's incredible. I don't even know how to describe their music. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how to put a genre on it, but it's very cool, like electronic-y, soulful, funky. Yeah, it's cool. It really makes me feel like young and hopeful. It reminds me of San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco for a time, and that's when I was listening to them a lot, and they're great. They're amazing.
That's it, Peter. I've got great songs to add, and I love talking to you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Bye.